Have you ever walked into a room and smelled something funky? You know, that unmistakable aroma that makes you wrinkle your nose? It might have been stinky feet. We've all been there, maybe even experienced it ourselves. Foot odor is a common problem, and it can become even more prevalent as we age. But why is that? Why do our feet seem to develop a mind of their own, odor-wise, as we get older? In this video, we're going to dive into the science behind stinky senior feet. We'll uncover the reasons why this happens and explore some practical tips to combat the problem. Don't worry, we'll keep it lighthearted and fun. So, if you're ready to kick those smelly feet to the curb, keep watching. As we age, our bodies change. It's a fact of life. And just like other parts of our bodies, our feet experience changes too. Over time, the skin on our feet can become thinner and drier. This is partly due to a decrease in collagen production, a protein that keeps our skin plump and elastic. Remember those sweat glands we talked about earlier? Well, they change with age too. They may become less efficient at regulating sweat, leading to either excessive sweating or dryness. This imbalance can disrupt the natural moisture balance of our feet, creating an environment where odor-causing bacteria thrive. Think of it like this. Imagine a lush garden. When it's well maintained, it's a beautiful sight. But if it's neglected, weeds can take over. Similarly, when the natural balance of our feet is disrupted, it creates an opportunity for odor-causing bacteria and fungi to flourish. Remember that smooth, supple skin we had in our youth? Well, as we age, our skin goes through a bit of a transformation. It's like a grape turning into a raisin, still sweet, but a little less plump and juicy. This thinning and drying of the skin are especially noticeable on our feet. The fat pads on our soles, which act like built-in cushions, start to thin out, making our feet more vulnerable to wear and tear. And with thinner skin comes a higher risk of cracks and fissures, providing those pesky odor-causing bacteria with easy entry points. Think of it like this: a brand new sponge versus an old, worn-out one. The new sponge is thick, absorbent, and holds moisture well. But the old sponge is thin, cracked, and doesn't quite do the job anymore. Our skin is similar. As it ages, it loses some of its elasticity and moisture-retaining abilities. Our sweat glands are like tiny sprinklers, helping to regulate our body temperature and keep our skin cool. But as we age, these sprinklers might start to act a little wonky. Some may become overzealous, producing excess sweat, while others might retire early, leading to drier skin. This change in sweat production can throw off the delicate balance of moisture on our feet. Too much sweat creates a breeding ground for bacteria, while too little can lead to dryness and cracks, again providing entry points for those odor-causing culprits. Imagine a dance floor. When the music is just right, everyone's having a good time. But if the music is too loud or too quiet, it can throw off the vibe. Similarly, the right balance of moisture is crucial for healthy feet. Too much or too little can create an environment where odor-causing bacteria thrive. Moisture is a double-edged sword when it comes to foot odor. We need some moisture to keep our skin healthy, but too much creates a haven for bacteria. As we age, our feet may struggle to maintain the ideal moisture balance. This can be due to changes in sweat production, thinner skin, and even medications that can affect our body's hydration levels. And when our feet are either too damp or too dry, it creates an environment where odor-causing bacteria and fungi can take hold. Think of it like a recipe. The right amount of each ingredient is crucial for a delicious outcome. Too much or too little of something can throw off the entire dish. Similarly, the moisture balance of our feet is essential for healthy, odor-free feet. Let's talk about bacteria, those tiny microorganisms that are everywhere, even on our feet. Most bacteria are harmless, and some are even beneficial. But there are a few bad apples in the bunch, and when it comes to foot odor, bacteria are the main culprits. Our feet are naturally home to a diverse community of bacteria. They thrive in warm, moist environments, and when we sweat, our feet become an all-you-can-eat buffet for these tiny organisms. As bacteria break down the sweat, they release certain byproducts, and guess what? Those byproducts smell. Imagine a crowded dance floor. As people move and groove, they generate heat and sweat. The more people on the dance floor, the hotter and sweatier it gets. Similarly, the more bacteria on our feet, the more odor they can produce. Sweat itself doesn't smell, it's mostly water, with a small amount of salt and other minerals. But when sweat gets trapped in our shoes and socks, it creates a breeding ground for bacteria, and that's when the trouble starts. Remember those changes in sweat production that can happen with age? Well, they can exacerbate the problem. Excessive sweating, also known as hyperhidrosis, can make our feet a veritable swamp, providing an ideal environment for bacteria to multiply and release their odoriferous byproducts. Imagine a sponge sitting in a puddle of water. The longer it sits there, the soggier it gets. Similarly, when our feet are constantly sweaty, it creates a moist environment where bacteria can thrive. Bacteria aren't the only microorganisms that can cause foot odor. Fungi, like those that cause athlete's foot, are also players in this smelly game. Fungi thrive in warm, moist environments, and they just love the spaces between our toes. Athlete's foot, also known as tinea pedis, is a common fungal infection that can cause itching, burning, and yes, even odor. The fungi that cause athlete's foot feed on the keratin in our skin, and as they break down this protein, they release, you guessed it, smelly byproducts. Imagine a group of hungry teenagers raiding the pantry. They're not picky eaters and they'll consume anything they can get their hands on, leaving a trail of crumbs and empty containers in their wake. Similarly, fungi can wreak havoc on our feet, breaking down keratin and releasing odor-causing byproducts. Our feet are like miniature ecosystems, teeming with microscopic life. Most of the time, these microorganisms coexist peacefully, but when the balance is disrupted, it can lead to problems like foot odor. Aging, with its accompanying changes in skin and sweat production, can disrupt this delicate balance, creating an environment where odor-causing bacteria and fungi can flourish. But don't worry, there are ways to combat this smelly situation. In the next section, we'll explore some practical tips for keeping those feet fresh and odor-free. Our footwear choices can make or break the battle against stinky feet. Imagine wearing a pair of rubber boots all day, every day. Your feet would be screaming for air. Yet we often subject our feet to similar conditions by wearing shoes that trap sweat and moisture. Those stylish but non-breathable shoes might look great, but they can turn your feet into a breeding ground for odor-causing bacteria. Leather and synthetic materials can trap heat and moisture, creating the perfect environment for those smelly microorganisms to thrive. Think of it like a greenhouse. The glass walls and roof trap heat and humidity, creating an ideal environment for plants to grow. Similarly, non-breathable shoes can create a warm, moist environment that bacteria just love. So, what's the solution? Breathable shoes are your feet's best friend. Look for shoes made of materials like canvas, mesh, or perforated leather, which allow air to circulate and keep your feet cool and dry. When your feet can breathe, sweat can evaporate more easily, reducing the moisture that bacteria need to thrive. This can make a world of difference in preventing foot odor. Imagine a cool breeze blowing through an open window. It's refreshing and invigorating. That's what breathable shoes can do for your feet, keep them cool, dry, and odor-free. Don't underestimate the importance of socks in the fight against foot odor. Socks act like a barrier between your feet and your shoes, absorbing sweat and helping to keep your feet dry. But not all socks are created equal. Cotton socks, while comfortable, tend to absorb moisture and hold onto it, creating a breeding ground for bacteria. Synthetic socks made of materials like moisture-wicking fabrics are a better choice, as they draw sweat away from your feet and allow it to evaporate more easily. Think of it like a sponge versus a towel. A sponge absorbs water but holds onto it, while a towel absorbs water and allows it to evaporate. Moisture-wicking socks act like towels for your feet, keeping them dry and odor-free. Just as important as choosing the right socks is changing them regularly. Dirty socks are a breeding ground for bacteria, so make sure to change your socks daily, or even more often if you sweat a lot. And when you wash your socks, make sure to use hot water and detergent to kill any lingering bacteria. Drying your socks in the sun can also help to kill bacteria and eliminate odors. Think of it like doing laundry. You wouldn't wear the same clothes day after day without washing them, would you? Treat your socks the same way. Wash them regularly to keep them fresh and bacteria-free. Let's face it, we've all had those moments where we've wondered, Is it just me, or do my feet have a bit of a fragrance? Identifying stinky feet is the first step. Take a whiff of your shoes after you take them off. If they greet you with a pungent aroma, your feet might be sending out an SOS. Remember, a little foot odor now and then is normal. While foot odor is common and usually not a cause for concern, there are times when it's essential to seek medical advice. If you notice any of the following symptoms along with foot odor, it's time to schedule a visit with your doctor or podiatrist. If your foot odor is relentless and doesn't improve with home remedies, it could indicate an underlying medical condition. Pay attention to any changes in the skin on your feet, such as redness, swelling, scaling, cracking, or blisters. These could be signs of a fungal infection, bacterial infection, or other skin conditions. Foot odor accompanied by pain, burning, or itching should not be ignored. These symptoms could indicate an infection or other foot problem. Remember, it's always better to err on the side of caution when it comes to your health. If you're ever in doubt, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare professional. When it comes to our health, knowledge is power. If you're concerned about foot odor, reach out to a healthcare professional. They can provide personalized advice and recommend effective treatments. Podiatrists specialize in foot and ankle health. Your PCP can also help with foot odor concerns. Dermatologists treat skin conditions affecting the feet. Don't suffer in silence. Seek help for foot odor. Alright folks, let's talk about the cornerstone of fresh feet, good hygiene. It's like brushing your teeth, but for the fellas down under. Just like you wouldn't go days without brushing your pearly whites, your feet deserve a little TLC too. The key here is consistency. Make it a habit to wash your feet every day with soap and warm water, paying special attention to the areas between your toes. Those little nooks and crannies can harbor moisture and bacteria, so give them a good scrub, and don't even think about skipping the drying part. Moisture is the enemy of fresh feet, so grab a clean towel and pat those puppies dry, especially between your toes. Remember, damp feet are like a playground for bacteria, so let's keep things clean and dry down there. Remember those breathable shoes we talked about earlier? Well, now it's time to put them to good use. Choosing the right footwear is like picking the right outfit. It can make all the difference in how you feel. Opt for shoes made of breathable materials like canvas, mesh, or leather with good ventilation. These materials allow air to circulate, keeping your feet cool and dry throughout the day. And when it comes to socks, go for moisture-wicking fabrics that draw sweat away from your skin. Just like you wouldn't wear the same shirt 2 days in a row, or at least we hope you wouldn't, give your shoes a break between wears. This allows them to air out and dry completely, preventing the buildup of moisture and odor. Sometimes, even with good hygiene and breathable footwear, our feet need a little extra help staying fresh. That's where foot powders and antiperspirants come in. Think of them as the secret weapons in your odor-fighting arsenal. Foot powders, especially those containing antifungal ingredients, can help absorb excess moisture and keep your feet dry. Sprinkle a small amount in your shoes or directly on your feet before putting on your socks. And if you're prone to sweaty feet, consider using an antiperspirant specifically designed for feet. Here's a bonus tip. Give those tootsies some extra love with regular foot soaks. Add a cup of Epsom salt to a basin of warm water and soak your feet for 15 to 20 minutes. Epsom salt can help draw out moisture, reduce inflammation, and even combat odor. Let's be honest, our feet work hard. They carry us through life, literally. So why not show them some love with a little pampering? Regular pedicures aren't just about pretty toes, they're also about maintaining foot health. A professional pedicure can help remove dead skin cells, trim nails properly, and address any issues like ingrown toenails that can contribute to odor. But you don't have to go to a salon to pamper your feet. Give yourself a mini pedicure at home. Soak your feet, exfoliate with a pumice stone, trim your nails, and moisturize with a good foot cream. Your feet will thank you for it. So there you have it. We've journeyed into the fascinating world of foot odor. It's often a combination of natural changes in our skin and sweat glands, the microscopic world of bacteria and fungi, and our footwear choices. But foot odor is manageable with care and attention. Let's step into freshness and enjoy life to the fullest.